I have here, which I want to take. One of them is from Dr. Swati Chandak, and her question is, how do luxury brands cope with copycat branding and Chinese products? So that's a valid question in today's world, given that we have a huge market for that kind of stuff, right? Wispy.
I think as Indians, we should be quite proud to say that that doesn't really happen here as much, nowhere near as much as it does in China. But a lot of the brands today, a lot of the European brands today do have whole departments who do chasing this, and it's not really catching the retailer who sells it at the end of the day, but working backwards right down to the root, the manufacturer, and having that closed down.
Right. You know, I want to ask Pradeep and even Biju that it's not only true for global brands. It happens to Indian designers. I mean, you could go down to a Manish Malhotra and go 15 stores down and you'll find somebody else saying this is the Manish Malhotra copycat or whatever that is, you know. It can happen to anyone. So dealing with it is a universal issue, not necessarily for global brands.
Absolutely. It happens throughout. I mean, whenever a brand is successful, whenever a product is successful, it's obviously imitated in unethical ways.
You want to add?
Yeah, no, I think while it's a problem which needs to be contained, but unless a product is really copied, it hasn't really become luxury.
I like his optimism a lot. I think it's really adding to the ability of retailers to keep up with the patience. Okay, one more good question here from Bhuvan Gaurav of Titan. Does discounting a luxury brand take away from the brand? Does it?
It depends how you do the discounting. For example, early on, you mentioned about the internet, suggesting that the internet luxury goods offer are discounted. But at least in the Western market where we operate, particularly say in the UK, I'm not aware of any genuine discounting on genuine current season goods. Because even the internet offer in the UK, when they say 50–70% off for a period of time, they are actually discounting last 2 seasons stock. When the sophistication level of our consumer in the UK are very high, for the real luxury spenders, they want to chase after the hottest of the hot in the current season. Therefore, to talk about 2 seasons old stock, they will not be interested anyway. I can assure you, the regular customers of Harvey Nichols would not be interested in those. Those are clearly for different type of customers. So in that sense, therefore, discounting on past season's goods itself would not do any harm to the luxury brand.
Okay.
But of course, if you're talking about discounting current season stock, then obviously substantial damage will be done. Because after all, if that is going to prevail, who is going to pay full price?
Govind?
I think there's a big difference between discounting a product and a price versus discounting a brand. Now, that's the big issue that I see. So if brands continue to keep on discounting continuously, it's the brand which is going to get finally discounted, not the price of the product of a season. So good brands, great brands ensure that discounting is a mechanism to wean new customers into their fold and grow them to the higher price point for the latest merchandise. Bad brands that finally get dead corpses, as he said earlier in his presentation, continue to discount all the time and will be dead in no time.
Okay, Biju, do you have a view on that?
Well, I think as long as it's planned as part of a cycle and consumers are very familiar with those cycles, which is, let's say, normally a spring, summer, autumn, winter kind of cycle, then it's okay. And I exactly agree with Mr. Bond that as long as you make sure that you take out merchandise which is out of the season and discount it to be able to clear your stock, I think it's perfectly acceptable.
Okay. We have time for just one more question. Is there anyone in the audience who's got a question? Sir, go ahead. We'll just have the mic come up to you.
In listening to your conversation about luxury brands, and especially European brands, there's another kind of brand, and I think Mr. Wan brought it out very clearly, is the store brand. And I'm sure that Mr. Wan would say that the value of the Harvey Nichols name is much more important than the multiple brands that make that name. So, and you think about stores like Colette in Paris. They're stores that the store is the fashion, the store is the statement, and the product within the store is very creatively merchandised, it's very creatively sourced, and is there a it requires a fashion creativity, and it can be across accessories, it can be clothing, it can be beauty. Is there a possibility of developing a real Indian fashion specialty store, but the components of that store are products that are sourced in India?
Okay, yeah, that's an I think there's an attempt there, but whether we've achieved that kind of success where people associate with that level of brand loyalty, as Mr. Van talked about, is still missing. Shoppers Stop, tell us, what is the experience?
I think the key issue here is, and I completely agree with his statement that yes, a store has now become a brand. And if you don't recognize that, and if you don't really build those private labels as exclusive brands and don't invest on them, they'll always remain as private label. Indian players, and if you read reams and reams of newspaper articles every day, only talk about private labels as being starting price points. We have gone out of that. We have said a hot curry is a brand that will